I made my bed for this shit. You better believe I'ma get it in the frame. Did you miss me? You may have noticed that I am in a dorm now. I'm gonna do a full dorm tour. It's not quite finished yet, but here's a little sneak peek. So yeah, sorry I was gone, but I was getting settled. So this is available on Amazon in both paperback and ebook. The paperback version is in all black and white, but the Kindle version is in all color. And I would recommend the Kindle version because this is a really obnoxious neon green. And it's just not the same in black and white, you know? You kind of need the color to get the meme. I did this with my last book where I read a few chapters. Why Cliches is kind of a different book because like here's number 20, but then there's also number 20 in the back. So I'm gonna read both. It'll make sense. It'll explain itself. You got it. But if you go to my school and you want a signed copy for $5, hit me up. Okay, so you can read the 5-chapter teaser for free on my website, but I think for this video I'm also gonna read my favorite chapter. Let's get into the book. I signed it for myself. This is the introduction. I may have confidently pointed at Africa when asked where Cuba is located on a map sometime during my 7th grade geography class, but if there's one thing I do know how to do, it's writing. If I could put videos into books, I'd show you this one clip of me, age 3, reading out loud from a notebook as my mom films me on our ancient digital camera. She slowly pans over my shoulder and we discover I'm reading from a completely blank page. That's right. I was a writer before I could even write. I know that doesn't necessarily mean I'm qualified enough to make an entire book about writing, but at least it gives you an idea of how weirdly obsessed I am with this shit. So anyway, I've spent the majority of my life absorbing as much knowledge about the world of reading and writing as humanly possible. I've written 5 books, not counting the cringy sci-fi novel when I was 12 or the 22-page epic entitled Besties Go on an Adventure from 8-year-old Jane. And I have thousands and thousands of unfinished ideas ranging from 2 to 250 pages on my various archives. The sheer volume of my past writing is overwhelming, but I can easily say it pales in comparison to how much reading I've consumed. In 2013, I joined a website for readers and writers that I won't be mentioning by name because it sucks, but we'll get more into that later. And I was exposed to millions of amateur books created by authors just like me. There were a few, emphasis on few, gemstones hidden among the mountains of pure crap, but 99% of the content on the site was a mix of One Direction fanfictions and some of the worst writing I'd ever experienced. I spent the next 5 years studying these books, effectively compiling together a list of what exactly I didn't want in both the books I read and the books I write. Ultimately, I began posting my own writing on the site, and one of my books that really took off was this thing called Cliches, where I basically made fun of almost every variety/genre of writing by creating my own over-exaggerated examples from the list I'd collected. My readers also began sending in their own cliches that they had noticed, and eventually the book had over 7 million views. Suddenly, I began receiving messages that I had actually helped people improve their writing, more than just making them laugh. On Friday the 13th, I wish I was joking, but I'm not, of July 2018, the website deleted my profile and all my books on it, including Cliches. Also, this past Friday the 13th, I broke my leg, so I'm for real cursed. Just a fun side note. I'd driven tens of millions of views and interactions for free, so I guess I'd served out my purpose. But anyway, I spent the next week wallowing in self-pity and heartbreak over the fact that I had wasted 5 years on this stupid fanfiction site. But then the emails came. Hundreds of users began sending me the chapters of Cliches they'd screenshotted, telling me to re-upload it because they wanted to share it with their families, friends, teachers, basically anyone who could use it. The fire in me was relit, and I recovered the entirety of the content I posted on the site thanks to my amazing supporters. I lost all my drafts though. Another fun side note. However, there was no way in hell I'd go back to that shithole website, so then I was struck with a new idea. I'd create a book with 100 examples of cliches and publish it so that everyone in the world could have access to it, not just my friends and fans. I'm far from the most qualified teacher, and I'll completely understand if you've already stopped reading, but I hope that this book can assist you in your reading and writing endeavors in some way, even if small, or even just make you laugh. I'm good with that. Jane Conquest, age 18. Next part is this little message that says, just a reminder that a book isn't automatically bad because it has a few or a lot of cliches. It's all about the story, so cliches should be used to help the flow, not distract the reader. Learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. Pablo Picasso. Be sure to check my notes on the final chapter after each cliche. Number 1. Why do all the characters nowadays have unique names? Kahoot walked down the road. Infinity live, love life, pet her dog. Spaghetti wasn't your typical teenager. And then at the bottom it says look for number 1 on the AN/how to correct this chapter to learn more. You know, the author's note. I'm not going to read that for every page. Alright, now let's flip back to the number 1. Number 1, why do all the characters nowadays have unique names? Listen up, white moms and hipster writers alike. I hope you understand that quirky names won't make your book stand out, especially when everyone's characters have crazy names nowadays. In my experience, hard to pronounce names names and or hard to spell names will actually turn people off of your book. So if you really want to have an obscure name, stick to traditional or at least simple. Don't get me wrong, unique names can work and even be badass, but too many authors are going way overboard with this cliche lately. It's also good to have a balance. Some unique names, some common names, in order to stay realistic. The mix of names also provides something for all types of readers. The trendy parents who willfully call their children Marilyn or Basil, and the salty teenagers like me who hate on them. P.S. This, of course, doesn't apply to cultural or fantasy genre names, that sort of stuff. Good luck. Number 2. Why do all the worst online books have the most views? Like, I'm a Girl. 79 million views. He kissed me, and it was good. 800 million views. Five Guys? Which do I choose from? I just realized that Five Guys, like the burger place. I feel so awkward laughing at my own book, but it's funny. Number 2. Why do all the worst online books have the most views? Okay, I don't know. I don't understand. I've tried and tried to boost my books, but some 8-year-old with bad boy in their title will always end up beating me. How? How do you get people to read your terrible work? We must band together to appreciate the good literature and bring down the tyranny of bad books. Rise up and reclaim what's ours. Good luck. I never use capital letters, so you know I'm serious. Alright, number 3. Why does every character have rare colored eyes? 50% plus of the world has brown eyes. Where they at? He had the most breathtaking green eyes. I fell into them like a leaf of lettuce in a salad. Her eyes were icy blue. Her sister also had blue eyes, and her daughter too. I sighed. I hated my boring purple eyes. She was so proud of her emerald green eyes. She never blinked so she could show them off, but they didn't dry out. They stayed moist from the pure awesomeness of her eye color. Y'all hear me pause on the word moist? Still have trouble with that one. Alright, number 3. Why does every character have rare colored eyes? This cliche is so annoying. If you throw in even one brown-eyed character, you'll connect way more easily with brown-eyed readers. I'm sure they and me are sick of all these colorful and exotic eyes. Romanticize brown eyes. Cherish them. Call your book Brown Eyes. Just acknowledge they exist, please. I try to have at least 2 main characters in my stories with brown eyes. Some of you might consider adopting that policy. Good luck. Number 4. Why is every character not your average character? SMH. Ben wasn't your typical teenager. He played guitar. Parker isn't your average girl. Oh no. She isn't fake and plastic like the rest of them. Ever heard of Lana Del Rey? Didn't think so. That's Parker's favorite singer. She's pretty underground. I'm not like other girls, she murmured, leaning in close. I have a third nipple. Number 4. Why is every character not your average character? Seriously? There are so many better ways to word this phrase, or just delete it entirely. Everyone's overusing this hook nowadays, and I, for one, never fail to groan when I see this in a book's description. If you're such a special snowflake, why don't you try not using the phrase literally every author and their mama is using? Don't tell us about your character's uniqueness. Show us. Good luck. Number 5. Why do the mean girls always have snotty names? Ugh. Priscilla smirked at me evilly, then turned to her sidekick. What a loser, right, Dreamy? It was obvious that Bahamas was gonna be trouble. Some of y'all say that you like the third ones the best, but I like the second ones, honestly. Charity Kissy Lips flipped her long hair over her shoulder, narrowing her eyes at me. Her mother, Mrs. Kissy Lips, put her hand on her shoulder. I swear I made it her father. Her father, Mr. Kissy Lips. Oh, I think I made it her mother so it would go along with the mean girl thing, but Mr. Kissy Lips is still funny as fuck. Number 5, why do the mean girls always have snotty names? Mean girls are awful. I know, I've dealt with them. I've written about them. They don't deserve to have a normal name. But in stories, it humanizes mean girls to have everyday names. I feel like giving the mean girl a snooty name in your story somehow sets them apart from the other characters and makes it too clear that they're supposed to be evil. Also, I know a lot of people in real life with snotty or cheechy names, and none of them are mean. Shout out Princess. I'm sorry, girl. That was not meant to be shady. It's an obvious and tiring cliche to name the female antagonist something pretentious AF. Stick to regular names for mean girl characters, or even just non-ridiculous names to avoid being basic in this area. Good luck. This is my favorite, number 23. Why do the girl characters always get immediate attention from their love interests? SMH. Hey, you're new, right? Asked the totally hot guy who can't possibly know I'm new in a school of thousands. Come on, man, she's nothing special, Henry insisted. There's just something about her, Brett mused, stroking his strong jawline that had just a hint of stubble on it. From the moment I saw her, I knew we were soulmates. It was the sound of her laugh, the twinkle in her eyes, the slope of that ass. If you want to know what my sense of humor is, that's it. Read this book and you'll know what my sense of humor is. Why do the girl characters always get immediate attention from their love interest? If you're gonna add cliches to your story, I'd suggest avoiding the ones, like this one, that only sex-starved wine moms want to read. That was a lot easier to write than to say out loud. I feel so judgmental. I started this book 3 years ago when I was 16. I was a different person, okay? If you believe in love at first sight, it's too rare to be paraded around like this, and it's unfortunately been overused to death in the romance genre, specifically when the quirky new girl suddenly gets hit on by all the popular dudes at school. I guarantee the majority of your audience will quit if you don't treat your character's chance meeting as organically as possible. Stand out by avoiding this cliche, please. Good luck. Yeah, I'm really proud of this. Oh, I'm just remembering that I gave it to my teachers. Pray for me. Even if you don't know anything about reading or writing, I think you could still find this book funny. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye! I feel like they're listening to me. Bro, this is the problem with reading my book. I just want to edit the shit out of this. It's been a month. Also, I've been missing Peanut so much that I bought a cat-shaped pillow. Leave me a comment on what to name her. Learn the rules like a plo. I think someone's having sex upstairs. It's 2:54 on a Tuesday. Why does every color have rare colored characters? Should I read the author's note? Is it good? I don't remember. They're all good, I mean, buy the book.